Hey everyone, Once Bitten here with a battle report. So we reached Game 3 of Adepticon 2016, my Beast Herds versus an Ogre Khans army. This is a 2,400 point game. Um, so when I went up to Adepticon, I was actually staying with Chaihammer, and every morning we would get a ride from his place in Chicago out to where Adepticon was being held, and we rode with his brother. Well, this game is against his brother. So it's pretty cool. We are both, I think, excited to have a chance to play each other. I've played Ogre Khans several times in Ninth Age, but not a list that was quite like this. So looking forward to it. So after my screw up in my previous game against the Empire of Sonstal, this game I decided I was just going to plop my whole army down, let my opponent deploy however he wanted, and put my stuff in the center and just see if I can make a go of it. So what you're seeing here is after the Vanguard. So I put everything down, Vanguard up, and you can tell I'm just kind of in your face. Let's go over the list real quick. Starting on the right, he's got a saber-tooth tiger. There on the hill, he's got a mammoth hunter. I didn't have the time to read up on this guy. When we were playing the game, of course. But my opponent said, yeah, he's pretty tough. I know he has a 2-up armor save. He's got a 4-up ward save. He's got kind of a shooting attack, but so he's kind of a big tough character with the 2-up 4-up. There right next to him on the hills, another saber-tooth tiger. Then there's a unit of tribesmen and heavy armor iron fist. He's got his battle standard bearer in there. He's got an item that if you're touching him, he gives you -1 to your initiative. And then he's also has a level 2 lore of butchery in that unit as well. Next to it is a frost mammoth. Next to them, the unit of yetis with extra hand weapons. That unit scares me just a little bit. Behind them is a big unit of mercenary veterans. These guys scare me quite a bit, actually. They've got bodyguard, and of course his general is in there, and he's got a weapon that does D3 wounds. He's got a 4-up ward save, and as long as he's alive, that unit's stubborn. So that's no good. But they also have brace of pistols with of course with their poison. So that unit's just a pain in my side. I didn't know how I felt about them deploying behind like this, because my first thought was, oh good, you've kind of gone double layers, so I can kind of ignore that unit for now. And then I realized my opponent treats his yetis as a throwaway unit, so he just puts them up there right in your face, and if you beat him, then he's got this unit of mercenary veterans right behind him. And until that happens, those guys are shooting at you. So anyway, there's another saber-tooth tiger, and then there's a unit of bruisers with great weapons. And then in reserve, he's got a kin eater. So if you used to play Warhammer Fantasy 8th Edition, that thing was called a... Oh my gosh, I just blanked out. Oh well, sorry. So what I thought was funny was he's using a Minotaur model for that. I'm like, what? You're playing the Beastman and you're going to show up with a Minotaur model? That is one of ours, my friend. He will not do well for you this game. On the right, I've got a Beast Giant. I'm playing these guys sober with looted booze. So they get the Vanguard, and then on my first turn, they drink their booze and get drunk. So if you're not familiar with the rules, read up on them. It's kind of a cool little thing to do. 2 units of gargoyles. Then I've got a front line, all of chariots that have vanguarded up. This unit back here, big bunch of wild horns. They can once per game march 15 inches, so I have no worries about getting up in place. I could get too close, but I certainly have the movement that I need. My Jabberwock is all the way back here. I've got 3 characters in that big unit. My general beast, who's a beast lord. If you want to see the build, look at my intro video for the Adepticon. Got a BSB and level 3 Path of Wilderness. And let's see, after the chariots, there's another Razor Tusk, and there's another Beast Giant. In reserve, I've got a mid-size Wildhorn unit, and then I also have our Briar Beast. So, because I deployed first, I said, yep, I'm just going to go first, that's fine. And I on the right, I envelop him. All I was really trying to do over there is make sure that I was out of line of sight of his mammoth hunter, which I am. And other than that, I like the position. I'm happy to take that giant around that hill, or whatever. I think if he tries to play around with that mammoth hunter, I should have the movement to be able just to kind of get around him. And I think I'm willing to take that giant and charge into him just to see what happens. Uh, everything is as you can see it. Magic phase. All that really happened after that was I got the plus D6 charge plus 3 initiative on my main unit. So we go to Ogre Khans turn 1. His his Mammoth Hunter on the hill just kind of marched straight up and went around the house. He wants this guy behind my lines. I think it's a um, pretty good use for him because I don't really know yet how to deal with that guy. On the left, I see my opponent's strategy coming into play here. He takes his Yetis, he just marches them right up, and he's like, charge me with whatever you want, because whatever happens, those guys are going to stand. They're going to put some wounds on you, and then they're probably going to die or break, and then you've got this whole army behind them just crashing into you. So, yeah, there's that. Here on the right, his saber-toothed tiger charges unit of gargoyles. I don't know what to expect from that. Gargoyles they're tougher than what harpies and other armies are. 2 attacks each, toughness 4. I think I should be okay there. Those darn mercenary veterans with their poison brace of pistols shoot at my giant, do 3 wounds to him. And over here we go to combat. Luckily he fails to wound. We only do 1 wound to him. He has a charge, I have a wound. It's a push, I'm not worried about that. We go to Beast Herd's turn 2. So, tell you what, my friends, this game, it's going to get bloody real quick. My opponent and I look at each other, we're like, well, it's turn 2, and stuff's about to get real. There is stuff going on all over this table. I'll do close-ups of the matchups in just a second. One thing I'll point out, if you look at the giant, he has the one that was on the left and got shot. I've now pulled him to the right. He's out of line of sight of the Mammoth Hunter, and I'm actually not. I'm pulling him over there just so the Mammoth Hunter can't do just whatever he wants. If he moves just anywhere, he at least is threatened by a charge by my giant. I don't know if I'd want to do that or not, but really I'm just trying to get him away from that shooting. But here on the left, I didn't have an immediate use for this other unit of gargoyles, so I went ahead and flew them in here just to make sure that we finished off that saber-tooth, and I freed up both of these units. Because I had the Direwolf Totem up on my unit of Wild Horns, this charge was an easy charge to make. And then I was able to get the charge off with this Razor Tusk Chariot. So I'm really I'm nervous because I think this is really important. I'm going to be -3 or 4 initiative because I'm within 6 inches of that Frost Mammoth, and then anybody touching his BSB is -1 initiative. So the bad news is he's going to get a lot of hits first, and it's going to do some damage. But I've got to think that my guys are going to do a lot of wounds to him. He's only strength 4 to my toughness 4, so there's only so much he can do, and I just have to believe we're just going to do a ton of wounds. Now this I haven't seen before, I don't think. I've got 2 raiding chariots, a Razor Tusk Chariot, and a Jabberwock, all charged in these Yetis. Why shoot once when you can shoot 1,000,000 times? I think we should do okay here. And really what I'm hoping for is to break him and have him sit in front of his lines and just block everything up. I mean that, or just kill him, but whatever. My Razor Tusk way over here on the left charges the Saber-Tooth Tiger because why not? And one thing I failed to point out is both my ambushers showed up. So my Briar Beast is in the woods on the left, and my medium unit of Wild Horns are behind his lines. And if you look in the top right picture, you can see that ambush unit of Wild Horns. So after combat, yeah, so the Razor Tusk wins combat against the Saber Tusk but doesn't kill it, and I actually passed my leadership test to restrain, and so that guy flees and lands right in front of his bruiser. So those guys, excuse me, it looks like they can wheel around him and hit that raiding chariot possibly, but that might be the angle, because in the game both of us looked at it and were like, yeah, they just really can't. So Saber Tusk is just blocking them right up. The Yetis are nowhere to be found. My memory isn't real clear on it. My assumption is I just killed them to a man. They're just dead. In other news, yeah, we went in there and we ended up losing, I want to say 9 guys, I think. If you look at the very bottom of this picture, you'll see a spell card and a token. So the spell card means that we got the totem off. We got off +1 attack and armor piercing, and then the token means I got off +1 strength and toughness. so from the Path of Wilderness. So between those two things, yeah, my opponent went first. He was strength 4, but I was toughness 5. And then when we struck back, I mean, I think my Beast Lord alone could take 2 of those models out. Just 6 wounds, boom, dead. I mean, he's hitting on 3s, rerolling to hit. At this point, he's strength what? Strength 5 plus the banner is 6 plus the spell is 7. Strength 7, and then with the Blessed Sword, reroll into wound. I mean, he was just tearing through stuff. So I pursued with the Razor Tusk Chariot just to make sure I got the points. Actually, that's not true. I would have got the points anyway because they were gonna. There's only like 2 models left, I think, and they were gonna flee through my ambushing unit, which is partly why I put them there. But I went ahead and pursued with the Razor Tusk Chariot just to get them out of my way so that I could pivot with this unit. So we go to Ogre Khans turn 2. Yeah, so if you look at the bottom right, his Mammoth Hunter is circling around the building. I kind of like this. He's just not up in my business. I like that the Giant is just kind of holding him at bay. There's a part of me wants to charge him with the Giant just to see what happens, but there's a much bigger part of me that thinks that that's probably just a bad proposition, and I might just try to save the points on the Giant. In other news, this is kind of a wonky picture, but coming in from my far left corner, my opponent's near right corner, he brought on the Kin Eater. His Frost Mammoth charges my Razor Tusk Chariot that was redirected him. I just wanted to make sure he couldn't countercharge into my main block just in case I was still in combat with his tribesmen. So he's going to kill this guy pretty easily. He's going to, if he chooses to, he can overrun and hit my Jabberwock, and then I can countercharge with my main unit when we fight that. The mercenary veterans shoot at my Jabberwock and do 3 wounds to him with that darn poison shooting. So that's not ideal. And after combat, yeah, so he easily kills the Razor Tusk. He overruns. His impact hits alone have a good chance of killing the Jabberwock. I'm gonna crash in there with my my general and the unit of Wildhorns. This thing's gonna be able to do a lot of wounds. He's gonna rack up a lot of combat res here. I just think that my general's gonna be able to kill him in 1 or 2 rounds of combat, and if nothing else, will be steadfast until then. Plus, I mean, the hard decision for me to make is what I want to do with all these supporting chariots. Because I could throw them all into that thing and just wipe it out. I might throw them into those mercenary veterans. Lots of good options. So Beast Herds turn 3, and that's, I'm telling you, if you remember the turn 2 picture, Beast Herds turn 2, it looked like we were getting busy. Now there's no playing around. Everything is getting bloody. With the exception of my Giant in the lower right hand corner, I don't want to mess with that guy. I'm just going to hide him away in the forest. And I'm not sure yet how to deal with the Mammoth Hunter, but at the same time, I'm not really worried about it. He's not posing a threat to me right now. So the Giant makes this long ball charge all the way from the back. He had circled around that hill in the back right corner, and I needed a pretty long roll to get this. And I was like, why not? If he fails it, there's really no downside to it. And yeah, he's in the action. So I think I'm going to lose the Jabberwock, but there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to kill this guy. If we don't kill him, I think we almost certainly will break him through combat res. And if we don't do that, I'm certain my Beast Lord's going to kill him soon enough. In other action, yeah, my ambushing unit hits the side of the mercenary veterans, and I put 3 chariots in their front. Now, every time I went into the weeds before, I mean, when I charged in and now I just charged out, I have to take 4 dangerous terrain tests, failing on a 1 for every chariot. And if you fail, it's just 1 wound, but still. So when I charged in, only 1 chariot took a single wound, and when I charged out, I think only 1 chariot took a single wound. I think I was fairly lucky about that. So I'm nervous about this because I don't need his bruisers on the left countercharging my chariots and just kind of dominoing right through there. And remember, these mercenary veterans are stubborn as long as the general's alive, and that general isn't going to be dead anytime soon. So really, my best chance is to go in there and kill all the mercenary veterans, but that's easier said than done. Now, I've got 3 chariots with impact hits. Hopefully I'll roll well on that, but if not, it's making me nervous. After combat, yeah, So I'm striking, 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 and when I'm all said and done, I think he has one mercenary veteran left, and I'm not sure he was on full wounds. And I was like, darn it! Oh my gosh! But his battle standing bearer is dead. He's stubborn. He rolls it. He rolls too high. They break. So excuse me. So the Razor Test Chariot overruns. He's actually, this isn't correct position. He's actually directly in front of my Raiding Chariot. He just wouldn't fit. So he overruns and hits that Saber-Tooth Tiger, which is great. Um, so my opponent can charge that the Razor Tusk on his turn, but then he's gonna I'm just gonna charge him with everything I have on my next turn. So yeah, I mean this I think broke the back of the Ogre Khans in this game. After combat over here, yeah, as predicted, he killed the Jabberwock, and then we just went to town on him. My Beast Lord just did a bunch of wounds, and anything he didn't take off of him, all those other attacks did. So at this point, I think I've got the top left hand corner wrapped up just fine, and so I decided to pivot towards this Mammoth Hunter guy. So we go to Ogre Khans turn 3, and the Mammoth Hunter comes charging in. And I don't know if this was out of fun or desperation, or if my opponent, knowing that I'd be steadfast for a long time, still thought he could hang out for a while. If that's the case, he has not met my Beast Lord, because a 2-up, 4-up does not worry my guy a bit. The problem is, I wasn't really looking at the list. I was just going on this assumption this guy looks pretty BA, and I don't know if I want to risk my Beast Lord to him. So we're going to go to combat here, and I'm just going to, the first round of combat, I'm just going to sacrifice my champion just to see where we're at. Meanwhile, this guy, the Kin Eater, comes strolling across the table. I think he tried to charge and failed. I'm not sure. After combat, the champion strikes at the same initiative as this guy and actually puts a wound through. I thought it was awesome. And then he dies gloriously. We win. He sticks. And next time, I'm going to put my Beast Lord up there. I've really no doubt that my Beast Lord will probably kill him. And if he doesn't, he's going to stay alive, certainly. And so my goal is just to time up my Beast Lord and then beat him through combat res. After combat, the Razor Test Chariot easily kills a Saber-Tooth Tiger and overruns into this unit. He can't fit otherwise. That is as much as he can fit, which is just perfect, because that means on my turn I can charge with everything. You can tell also my opponent decided not to charge the pig. Just wanted to reform the unit and say, you know what, bring him if you got him. So we bring him top left. Ambushing Wildhorns go in. The Chariot's already in. My Razor Tusk goes in the side. I take my Giant and my other Chariot. They're circling around the side so they can deal with the Kin Eater, and if they need to, go around and get in the other flank of the Bruisers. If you look in the very top left, my Briar Beast is not in combat with the Kin Eater. I really thought I would lose that, so I angled him to just miss the guy, and then I just want him available so that if that guy gets in combat, that my Briar Beast can come and support. If you look at the bottom right, my gargoyles fly into the flank of the Mammoth Hunter. We're going to be a challenge to my Beast Lord and that guy, so all they're going to do is they're going to give me a charge and a flank, so I expect to win through combat res. One mistake I made is the gargoyles at the bottom should have been facing south. That way, if I don't kill this guy and he breaks from combat, I don't have to worry about catching him. I could just reform with my main unit, and then that unit of gargoyles can pursue him off the board or whatever. Of course, he could rally on his turn. Maybe that's why I didn't worry about it. Anyway, there's that. After combat, Beast Lord smacks him silly. He does. Yes, my friend. Yeah, it just didn't take much. Rerolling to hit. You have to reroll ward saves. Rerolling to wound. I mean, he's just a force to be reckoned with. So yeah, they reform to help out should they need it. Now, one problem I've had is that that unit of Wildhorns that's in the fight, they are out of BSB and general range. So I pivot them now. I think they're in range of it, but yeah, that was a little bit poor planning on my part. Go to combat over here. If in the magic phase, I can tell you this turn, and I think next turn, I rolled a 3 for the magic phase. So basically I was going to get one spell off. So I did +1 strength and toughness on these guys. So my opponent's strength 6, I'm toughness 5, but I'm strength 5. Um, yeah. So we see how it goes, and we did a lot of wounds. He did a lot of wounds. The problem is I have reinforcements on the way. So Beast Herd's turn 5. Chariot and Beast Giant charge in. Everybody else just kind of shows up to watch the slaughter. And after combat, his bruisers are dead. The only thing he has left on the table is the Kin Eater, and my opponent says, we've got 1.5 turns left. You're going to kill him. Let's just stop it. And I was like, fair enough. So yeah, it was a full 25 points to me. I forget what the 6 points available, or the 5 points available for scenario objectives, but I got them all. And yeah, it was pretty much a butt drubbing. So, I mean, that was fun for us. It was nice coming off a loss and then coming and getting a big win. It leapfrogged me up to where I'm on table 2 after this. And yeah, so that was it. Thank you so much for watching the video. I truly hope you enjoyed it. As you know, YouTube has a variety of functions you can use to interact with videos such as this. You can like or comment on the video, you can favorite it, you can share it, and of course you can subscribe to the channel. And I encourage you to do any or all of those things as a way of interacting between viewer and producer. As always, I appreciate your patronage on the channel and wish you all the best.